Hello, welcome to Steak Insanity. My name is David, and this channel is about my carnivore diet journey. And in today's episode, I wanted to talk about a couple of things before I start my lion diet tomorrow. Why did I start my carnivore diet early? I wanted to touch a little bit on caffeine addiction, which is part of that. And I wanted to go through some of my numbers. So just so we can all understand where we are and where I am before I get started, so we can actually measure the effects as we move forward. If you're not subscribed to the channel already, please hit the subscribe button and hit the notify bell. That way you can get notified. I do try and update every single day, but sometimes I miss a day or I skip a couple just because of work or whatever. So it's nice to know when those episodes come out. And well, yeah, let's get to it. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Steak Insanity. A few things have happened, and I wanted to get into that just before we get started tomorrow. So I wanted to go ahead and get a little bit of a head start on the diet, mainly to get off caffeine, because I have been drinking caffeine for a while. And if I'm going to go straight on water, I wanted to go ahead and break myself of the caffeine addiction and go through that. So I started on the 27th. And stopped drinking caffeine. So I still do have decaf tea and coffee, but only with a little bit of milk. I wanted to just do that because I know how painful that is. And it was horrible. It took nearly 3 days to get over that searing headache and just tension in my neck and everything else. But I'm over that now. So thankfully that's done. And I should be ready to be on just water from tomorrow. The other thing that I did is I did start to do carnivore diet as well. Again, just to ease myself off of the excesses of all the carbs and all the just frankly shit that I've been eating over the holidays. And I felt really, really bad just within myself. I'd put on some weight. We're going to get into the details and the stats of that in a minute as well. But I'd put on a couple, maybe a pound or a pound and a half just over the holidays. And so I was not feeling good. I was not feeling good within myself. My body was not feeling good. And so I just thought, look, I've got to stop. So again, sort of in preparation to ease myself into the lion diet, I started carnivore. So I've been on carnivore again since the 27th. And for those of you who've watched me before, you know that when I did the channel earlier this year, I was really good about sharing all my stats every day and being very open about, what the metrics were that I was tracking. I'm not tracking as many metrics now as I was before because I think it was a little bit over the top. But I thought, again, some people might be interested to just know and understand what this looks like and from weight loss perspective and how much exercise I'm getting and how many calories I'm eating every day. So let's get into that quickly. I do have a spreadsheet here. So started on the 27th. When I weighed in the morning of the 27th, I was at 102.2 kilos, which is 225.4 pounds. And that day, so anyway, I started tracking my steps and my calories, and I will also track my cardio and some of my exercise stuff as well. But since then, this morning when I weighed in, I was at 101 pounds. So that's 2.6 pounds that I've lost since the 27th, just by doing carnivore diet and nothing else and cutting out the caffeine. The other interesting thing that factors into that, and I'll maybe get into this in the calories in a second, but one of the things that in cutting back on the caffeine that I changed was from drinking lattes, which I really love because essentially it's a glass of warm milk with some coffee in it, to drinking Americanos. So literally just Americano with a tiny bit of milk. So I've cut way, way, way back on my milk consumption, which has probably helped as well. But anyway, it looks like over that period, I've averaged about just over 7 hours every night of sleep. My step average has been about, let me see what the average is. been about 4,000 steps a day, um, which isn't great, but I haven't been going to the gym either. And I haven't basically left the house because it's been the holidays. So these numbers are a little bit skewed over what they would normally be. Um, I did go to the gym yesterday. So that's another thing that I've started doing again. So I had close to 10,000 steps yesterday, which is more what I would like to have. I've set a target for 7,000 a day for myself. So we'll see how we get on with that. My daily calorie intake, my kind of average has been around 1,500 calories. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, you're a man, you should have 3,000 calories a day. And no, I talked about this before. For me personally, and my body and my metabolism and everything else, I actually work best on about somewhere between 14 and 1,700 calories every day. If I eat more than that, generally, um, I will start to put on weight. Now, that's even on carnivore. I don't need that many calories for whatever reason. I don't carry a tremendous amount of muscle mass. I don't need a lot of energy. I have a sedentary job pretty much. I don't work outside doing a lot of activity. Most of the kind of activity that I do is actually in the gym. So I think, and I'm not trying to bulk up. So I'm not trying to get massive. So I don't need a huge surplus of calories every day as well. Um, that all being said, it's going to be interesting to see what happens on the lion diet. I've already got to the point where I'm not particularly hungry most of the time. So I'm scaling back. So I am finding it a little bit more difficult to actually get the calories that I need. And I think as soon as I come off of, all the teas and coffees and any of the, even the little stuff that I kind of eat around the edges, um, like nuts, for example. So I do have nuts for snacks and things like that if I'm super hungry. When I go on lion diet, I'm going to try and be extremely disciplined and really, really do it as literally to the letter as I possibly can. So I've already bought some steaks in so I can actually meal prep and cook some meat the night before so I can then bring it to work with me, because really it's difficult to find anywhere that I can get proper steak without it being prohibitively expensive. So I'm going to have to do all my meal prep, going to have to make everything myself. Um, so anyway, I'm kind of looking forward to it. I want to see how it's different than doing carnivore. But anyway, so those are my basic stats. I'm just looking at things like, what's my weight? How many hours of sleep am I getting every night? How many steps am I taking? And what's my caloric intake? Um, Once I'm strictly on lion diet, then obviously there isn't going to be like a carb count. I mean, I'm going to have basically zero carbs every day, and I'm going to have a lot of protein. There'll be some trace amounts, but it's going to be really interesting to see. I've never gone that actually strict before, so I'm quite curious to see what's going to happen. So that's that. That's my numbers. That's where I'm starting from. So I'll weigh in tomorrow morning. I am going to go to the gym again today before I go home. I do have a New Year's Eve party tonight. I might have one small glass of champagne or something, but I am very much going to try and stay as much on the diet as possible. And then tomorrow it's lion diet, starting from the morning. So yeah, so we'll weigh in tomorrow and see how that works. Another thing, I don't know if you can see it. It won't focus on it, but that little spot on my finger is where I did my blood test this morning. So I use a company called Thriva. So shout out to Thriva, Thriva. And I've been doing those over the past few years. And so I thought it would be good to do a blood test before I start. And then maybe 3 months in, 4 months in, and kind of check again to see what all my test results look like. So that's interesting. So I did the test this morning. I've put it in the mail. So in the next couple of weeks, I'll do an episode and talk about the results when I get those back. And there's a lady that's coming on named Susie Willows, and Susie does some metabolic testing, which is a little bit different. So I'm also going to do a metabolic test with Susie when she comes on, and we'll have some results to talk about around that as well. And what else do I have to update on? I think that was mainly it. I have several other people lined up now who want to come on the show and want to have a chat, so that's amazing. Um, so yeah, I think that's my update for today. So lion diet from the morning, but just wanted to let you know I have sort of started a little bit early, so I've already lost a couple pounds, but I have a lot to go. Um, I mean, I'm 101 kilos now. I would really, really like to be about somewhere between 80 and 85, but I don't think I've been that weight since I was in my 20s. Um, so I'm not so sure how practical that might be, but we'll see. I've been 89. 89 was probably the lightest I got when I was running quite a lot before. So we'll see. We'll see what the diet does over time. I'm not in any hurry. I would like to lose about 10 pounds fairly quickly. And if I could get that bit off, then I'd feel a lot better about myself. And then I know it's going to get harder and harder the more lean I become. I'm not morbidly obese or anything to start with. So, I'll probably be able to lose 10 pounds and then it was going to slow down after that. So I will have to ramp up and not do as much cardio and do a lot more weights. But again, we're going to have some conversations about the training and what training I'm doing and how that training impacts my weight and how I feel, and also being on the diet as well. So that's all for today. If you don't subscribe and you're new to the channel, then please subscribe. It's great for my numbers. I'm trying to get to the point that I can be monetized by YouTube. So I have about 1,000 watch hours to go, and I have about 50 subscribers to go. So if you can subscribe, that would be amazing. If you want to stay updated, then hit the notifications bell. And if you know other people that, that do a low keto or live a low keto lifestyle, then please share the channel with them and ask them to subscribe. I know that's an ask, but I have to. Anyway, I will see everybody in the new year. Have a good new year, and stay on the diet as much as you can, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.